Hey guys, Nitin here once again, and in this video I want to give you a really quick demo of MiiContacts, which is a contact and password manager. So I'm going to go through really quickly on this video just to give you a quick taste and quick highlights of the product, and I have lots of other videos which go into each of the features in greater detail, right? So this is just like a really quick overview. So I've installed MiiContacts, and then I'm just going to double click to start the application. So I'll just log in. And once again, you can actually disable the login if you wish to. All right, so this is the main MiiContacts interface. And you can see on the left hand side that we have our list of contacts that we can create. And on the right hand side, we can see the details pane, right? On the left hand side, you've got two tabs. You've got the contacts tabs, which is showing you all the contacts. And then you've got the accounts tab. So we'll get into the accounts in a second. So once you start the application, you select the contacts tab. You simply right click in this area here, and you can click add contact. And here you can give it a name. So I'm just going to type my own name, and I'm going to click OK. And basically that's it. You've created your contact. Now there's a whole bunch of details that you can provide, but this is how simple it is to create a contact. Now if you want to supply a picture to the contact, you can basically right click on this area, in this picture area. You can say set the photo, and then here what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select my own photo, and I'm going to click OK. So now you can give it an email, and you can give a phone number if you wish. You can put your address, and you can put a website. So here I'm just going to type in http miicontacts.com, which is my website, right? And if you actually click on this icon, it will open up the default browser, but let's not get into that right now. We just want to really quickly show you. Besides the main information, you can categorize your contacts. So you in here we've got the categories. We can right click and we can say add category, and then you can basically select a category. It's an optional feature if you want to do that. The notes feature is really cool, right? In the notes you have a fully fledged word processor built in, and you can actually store lots and lots of information. And it even supports templates, but let's not get into this. But basically, you know, I can type in stuff in here, and you can even copy and paste right from a web page, right? So let's go ahead and I'll quickly show you that. So I've opened my browser, and you can go to any page really, and let's say that you wanted to copy this image. So you can right click on this and say copy image, come back to MiiContacts. Here we can, you know, give it a title. Let's say we'll call it Tigers, and then we'll right click paste, and we'll say paste image, right? So the image comes in here. You can actually size the image if you want to, right? I'll go to the end here, and then if I want to just copy these facts here, I'll just basically highlight them, right click copy, come back here, we can paste formatted, right? And it gives you all the format, right? So basically copies as is, and it really looks fairly decent. So you can actually store a lot of information, you know, if you want to, and you can create pages and pages. So, you know, here's a whole bunch of pages that you can create, and you can even kind of make the page smaller. So you can literally have, you know, lots of articles or whatever you want. Not that you probably may not want to do that, but anyway, the feature is there. Phones, you can save as many phones as you want. So on the main contacts tab page, you can specify your home phone or your main phone here, right? Something like that. And on these tabs, you can actually store other phones, right? So you can store a whole list of phones, right? And then basically if you just click on this, and you can basically type in whatever you want, right? Same with the emails. You can right click on this area, and we can put in multiple emails. Same with the addresses. You can have multiple addresses, and yeah, and websites as well. So we can do, we can add a website, and then, if we add a website, let's call it MiiContacts again, right? And then here, if you can type in http MiiContacts.com, and then what you can do is you can basically right click on here, and we can see open website, and it will actually take you to the MiiContacts website, right? And then we've got the linked contacts. So the linked contacts, I'll just quickly show you, but the linked contacts are really good because you can link two contacts within and have a relationship between the contacts. So very quickly I can show you that, right? We go back to our contact, and then let's add another contact. So I'm going to type in my wife, and I'll give her a photograph too. Here's my lovely wife, and email, whatever the email is, prabha@gmail.com. Actually, that's not her email, but anyway, you can give it a phone number, and then let's get into the link contacts, right? So I can select myself. I can go into link contacts. I can right click, and I'm going to add a relationship. Right. So in this dialog, we can see that it's already pulled up all the other contacts. So I only have one more contact in here. That's why we're only seeing one. But if I had like 100 contacts, then all 100 would show up, except for myself, the one that I'm actually working on. Okay, and we can use this search feature to actually filter down if we want to. Since we only have one, there's no point in doing that. Okay, and then we can supply the relationship here. So it says here Prabha Mystery, because that's the contact I selected. Prabha Mystery's relationship to Nitin Mystery is gonna be a wife, right? So Prabha is my wife, and then the reversed relationship is Nitin Mystery's relationship to Prabha is a husband, right? And we can click OK. And if you have a look here, automatically it added the relationship entry here, and you can actually see the details of the person you're related to. So when you go back to Prabha and you go into our link contacts, so you can see the relationship is already there, right? So it's a two-way thing. As soon as you define one, the other one shows up. Right? So that's basically contacts. And then we have the other option, which is accounts. So in here, you can actually track all your username and passwords to all the other websites that you belong to. I'm sure many of you, just like myself, we have memberships to many websites, and sometimes it's really difficult to keep a track of our username and passwords. So I built that right into the contact manager. So in here we can actually manage all our user accounts, right? So once again, you can basically right click in this area. We can say add an account, and let's say my account is Facebook. My login name can be, whatever. I'll just type in that. My password could be 12345. Doesn't matter. Whatever your password is, and the website could be, it will be facebook.com, and your email, so you can track your email here. Because different websites actually require you to have the login username, and they also track your email. And if you've got multiple email accounts, then this email, you'll know that it's actually associated with this account, right? So we can click OK. All right, so we see, the interface is very similar to contacts. You click on this and you actually see the details here, and the login credentials. Now, the reason why when you click on an entry, let me create another entry just so you can kind of see it flicking backwards and forwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Website ebay.com, and then gmail.com, whatever, right? Right, so I have 2 accounts set up. Now, if you take a look at this, if I go to any of these accounts, you can see that the login credentials are actually blanked out. And that is by design, because what will happen is if somebody is standing over your shoulder, you don't want them to accidentally see your login credentials. So, by default, it's hidden. And to unhide, you can just click on this icon here, and it will tell you what your login name and password is. And if you want to edit that, you can basically click on this icon here, and you can actually edit it if you want to, right? And same with the password, you can edit the password, right? Now, as soon as you edit the password, let's see what happens, right? So I edited the password, I click OK. And you can see the password history has 1 entry. So what it does is it actually tracks your password history. And in a lot of these online banking websites, they have a policy where they say that you cannot repeat your password between X number of times. So for example, they might say, within the last 7 passwords that you entered, you cannot repeat any of those passwords, right? So sometimes you really don't know what you typed in. So this feature will enable you to track your passwords. And if you want to see the entries, you can once again click on the lock icon to unlock it. It will tell you what your previous password was and what date that password was created. Okay, and it just tracks. So for example, let's say we change this to another password, and we change it again to another password. You can basically see that we started with this, then we went here, then we went here, and now we're on this one, right? These icons will just gives you a really convenient way to copy this to the clipboard, so you can basically copy and paste into the website. So here we click on this and it'll say username has been copied to the clipboard. And now if you open up your website, let's say I'm just going to open up Notepad, right? You can right click and you can paste. And the same with the password, you can click on that and then you can paste this by right clicking and it will paste. So your username and passwords can be basically tracked like this. The notes section allows you up to 1,000 characters, and this is kind of really useful when you are trying to track the question and answers. So there's a lot of online banking sites that will actually prompt you to select a whole bunch of questions, maybe 3 to 5, and then the answers. So here you can actually track that. So you can put down your first question, or it could be like you might have selected something like what is your mom's maiden name, right? And then the answer would be tracked here. So you can basically you can track a whole bunch of information here. And I give you 1,000 characters. I think that's plenty, because the whole intent here is just to keep a track of your user account information. And that's basically it. And there's nothing really more to this application than this. And I just want to say it's a really useful and simple and powerful application. All the data is securely stored inside a database, and even inside the database it's actually encrypted to an algorithm which is in line with what the government of USA uses. So it follows their standards. So even if somebody gets hold of your laptop, the data inside will not be available for them. They'll have to try really hard to get to your information, but it's not going to happen, right? It's very, very secure. And you know, like I showed you, you can even secure it even further by supplying a username and password, which is actually controlled by the preferences. So if you go here, files, preferences, you can enable login, and in this case, every time you start MiiContacts, you're going to be asked this. If you disable it, it won't ask it, right? And I've also given you the database auto backup feature. So I would definitely recommend that you guys have this configured and turned on, and supply a backup folder which is not really locally to this machine. Or you can, you know, I would say a thumb drive would be definitely somewhere where you want to put it. You might want to, you know, if you have OneDrive from Microsoft or Dropbox, because the database is secure and the content is encrypted, you know, that's an option that you can have. I personally would rather just store it locally on my own network. That's what I normally do. But for this demo, I just basically put it into my D drive. But if you have a network drive, and you know, most people probably have a home network and they can store it there, or you can just put in a thumb drive and store the data in there. And what I do is actually I encrypt the data. Well, it's already encrypted, but I actually zip the data up, so it really takes up really less room on your hard drive, or your thumb drive, I should say. All right, so that was it. That's really the demo, and I hope you found it useful, and we'll see you in the next video.